Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be playing as Finland and we're going to be forming Greater Finland in the modern day. So, of course, I start this out simply by immediately just disbanding my forces in the capital. Don't need them. And of course, I use all my research points to just stack them all on military upkeep and administration as I usually do. And I spend the next couple of turns just making money, right? Now, my initial plan was to do this properly and just wait for Russia to start a war somewhere, right? And to kill time, I just basically started spending money on random ass buildings in my around my country so that I could avoid inflation. It's great tactics to do so. And I was looking around, hoping Russia would get in some war, right? Preferably China or something. I was just trying to play this normally, and I let it continue on. And then I kept waiting. I mean, of course, it was like 95 turns in. Normally, wars start around now. And some wars were starting out, I think. But Russia, for some reason, was just really weirdly peaceful this game. So yeah, I mean, I was just waiting, right? Then China ended up in a war with Japan. I wanted to get China into a coalition with me. That didn't work. Tried to get Kazakhstan into a coalition with me. That didn't work. I mean, for some reason, the AI is completely fine with going to war over, for 0 coins. But for some reason, you cannot convince them for their lives to ever join a coalition with you. It's weird. I mean, meanwhile, I was just looking over at Russia, again, this whole time. I mean, my currency was just inflated. And I got to 300,000 coins. And again, you can see just my income just drastically dropping as the inflation hits me. And so, I'm just here waiting until something happens. And I almost start raising my troops, right? I think about it again. But then eventually I realize I can't do this alone. So I get Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and Georgia. The weirdest ragtag team of countries, but nonetheless, it was going to be pretty interesting to see if I could do it with them. And so, with that in mind, I raise my army, and I mean, of course, I use all of the 300,000, or not all really. I use most of the 300,000 that I saved up for this war, and so I started the war. And now the thing is, with this playthrough, the only country I really need to attack is Russia. So that's why it's so short. And of course, there was really no resistance from the Russians. I mean, to be honest, if I was from the Russian side, I would not want to defend this barren wasteland either, right? This isn't really much, except they have their important port at Murmansk. So, I mean, I guess in real life, they'd probably really want to defend that. But that being said, this is just a game. So I straight up took over Karelia, and I basically got to all the territory that I needed, right? And once I did that, I sort of just held my line for a bit and waited. And then I just decided, yeah, you know what? I don't think the AI is going to peace out like this. And so I just started going off. But then the Norwegians attacked, which actually threw a wrench in my plans because I was just planning on going all in. But I started sending troops back frantically. Meanwhile, of course, the troops in Russia were under little threat. So I was able to send a lot of my forces back to fight against the Norwegians. And of course, I used the very little remaining amount of money that I had to fight back against them. And so now I was in a pickle, really, because I had limited movement points, and I had to disperse them between two fronts. That annoyed me, because now the Russians were somewhat attacking back. I mean, the Kazakhs made it here, at least, which was, I mean, that's such a random thing to say, though. The Kazakhstan straight up made it to the Arctic somehow. Anyways, as I continued on, I continued attacking into Russia. I don't want to advance too much, but at the same time, I was just continuously going. I knew, of course, the true way to make the AI sign a peace deal is to make them lose more territory. And of course, Norway ended up piecing out to a peace deal, right? Which, okay, so you made me divert all my troops for absolutely nothing. But nonetheless, it was pretty good for me. So I just brought them all back and continued my invasion of Russia. And now I realized that I had all the territory I needed. So might as well just peace out now. I mean, when it's all good. And I even took a bunch of extra territory in Russia. Because, well, why not, honestly? And then once I pieced out, right, the Russians obviously, they agreed. And then I pieced out and created the released the Russian Empire, just, capital in St. Petersburg and all that, just as a puppeted government. And just like that, I basically formed Greater Finland. All I had to do now was just move my troops, disband them all systematically, eliminate, just not eliminate. Eliminate is a strong word. Send my army home after they had finished serving their country, because, of course, we're not giving them jobs. So, yeah, and just like that, we formed Greater Finland. I'll see you guys next time.